Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. We love to pick a fascinating topic and really get into it. And today is no exception. We are talking about AI, but not just the basics of what it is and stuff like that. We're going way deeper than that. We're diving into a talk by Mustafa Suleyman. He's the co-founder of DeepMind and now Inflection AI. DeepMind, like AlphaGo, Ray. But this is something way bigger than that.
Yeah, it really is. And he kicks it off with his anecdote about his nephew, this 6-year-old kid who asked him, what is AI? Seems like a simple question, right?
Sure.
But it's interesting because even Suleiman, even someone who's at the forefront of the field, he kind of struggles to give a clear-cut answer,
Yeah.
an answer that really sums up what they're creating.
Wait, so you're telling me the guy who built some of the most advanced AI out there can't explain what it is? That's kind of crazy when you think about it.
It is, and it gets right to the heart of the whole thing. What are we making here? Is it just a tool, a technology, or is it something more? Suleiman's got this bolder idea. AI is a new digital species.
Whoa, hold on. A species? That sounds like something straight out of a movie.
Yeah.
How does he justify that?
Well, he argues that AI isn't static. It's not like a hammer or a phone or something. AI is constantly learning, evolving, adapting, almost like a living thing. And the way it's going to impact our lives, well, could be way deeper than any tech we've seen before. We're not just using AI, we're going to be living with it.
So it's more like we're building a whole ecosystem, not just adding a new gadget to our lives.
That's exactly it. And the speed of this whole thing is insane. Suleiman points out we've gone from computers to the internet to AI, all in a pretty short amount of time.
So each wave builds on the last one.
Yeah, and that means things are changing faster than ever.
Okay, so if AI is evolving so fast,
Yeah.
and it's becoming this huge part of our lives, what does that actually look like?
Right, so picture this. Personal AI assistants for everyone. And I'm not just talking about Siri or Alexa, something way more advanced. It understands what you need, anticipates what you want, and helps you navigate your life in ways we can't even imagine right now.
So having a super smart personal assistant, that's with you all the time.
Oh,
But is that all?
Oh, no, not even close. Think about AI representing entire organizations, maybe even towns and cities. Imagine every object has its own AI interface.
Yeah.
Your car, your house, everything's connected and talking through AI.
So our whole world has this digital twin.
Right.
But are these AIs just going to be these cold calculating machines?
That's where it gets really interesting. Suleiman says these AIs, they won't just have high IQ, they'll have high EQ too. So we're talking about companions, confidants, partners, each one unique and made for that specific person or group.
So it's not just about what AI can do, it's about how it connects with us.
Yeah, exactly. Think about the possibilities. Personalized tutors that adapt to how you learn. Medical advice available 24/7, maybe even a therapist that's always there to listen.
That kind of access could change so many lives.
Absolutely.
But isn't there a risk that we become too reliant on all this? What if the system crashes or malfunctions?
That's a good point, and Suleiman actually addresses that. He talks about this concept of AQ.
AQ.
Yeah, it stands for Actions Quotient.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. What is this AQ thing all about?
Well, AQ is all about the AI's ability to not just exist in the digital world, but to actually do things in the real world.
So they're not just thinking, they're actually doing.
Exactly. Imagine an AI organizing a community event, or helping you understand a complex medical diagnosis, or even coordinating resources to fight climate change. The possibilities are huge.
Okay, this is all pretty mind-blowing, but if I'm being honest, it's kind of unsettling too. Thinking about AI as a species, that can actually do things in the real world. It makes me wonder, are we creating something that could get out of control?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And the whole digital species thing, while it's powerful, it also forces us to think about the risks that come with this tech. Suleiman actually talks about this with Chris Anderson, the head of TED.
So what kind of risks are they talking about?
Well, there's the concern about AI becoming too autonomous, maybe self-replicating, or even developing so fast that it becomes uncontrollable.
So in those sci-fi movies where the machines take over?
Not quite that dramatic. Suleiman knows about these risks, but he doesn't think they have to happen. He really emphasizes this idea of safety by design.
Safety by design. So how do you bake safety into something as complex as AI?
It means building safeguards and ethical considerations into the AI systems from the very beginning. Think of it like building a house. You wouldn't wait till after the roof is on to worry about the foundation, right?
Makes sense.
Same with AI. We need to think about safety and ethics every step of the way.
So we're not just building AI that's smart, we're building AI that's safe. and aligned with our values.
Exactly. And that leads to this really interesting point. Suleyman says we're not just discovering a new continent with AI, we're building one from scratch.
That's a powerful analogy and kind of scary if I'm being honest. Like, are we up to this?
It's a huge responsibility for sure, but it's also an incredible opportunity. We have the chance to shape this new world, to maximize the benefits and minimize the risks.
So it's not about stopping progress, it's about guiding it.
That's it. And this leads to something else Suleyman talks about, how we think about data. You know, that whole data is the new oil thing. He says that's totally wrong.
Okay, so if data isn't oil, what is it?
He says it's more like AI is to the mind what nuclear fusion is to energy.
Whoa.
Limitless potential, both positive and negative.
Yeah, that's both exciting and terrifying.
For sure.
So with all this talk about AI as a species and building this new world, why should the average person care?
Because this isn't just some abstract tech. We're talking about something that will touch every part of our lives.
Yeah.
Our jobs, our relationships, healthcare, even how we understand what it means to be human.
So are we doomed?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Remember, AI is a reflection of us. We have the power to give it our best qualities. Empathy, kindness, curiosity, creativity.
So it's not about AI taking over, it's about AI becoming more human.
In a way, yes. It's about making sure this digital species reflects the best of who we are, not our worst parts.
That's a much more hopeful way to look at it. So how do we actually do that? How do we make sure AI becomes a force for good?
That's a great question, and that's something we're going to dive into more in the next part of our deep dive.
Can't wait. So we're back and ready to keep going deeper into this whole AI as a digital species thing.
Yeah, it's really a game changer. Like Suleyman's saying, this isn't just like another tech upgrade. It's something much bigger and potentially more independent.
Okay, so we can't just treat it like another app on our phones.
Exactly. Thinking about it as a species, even if it's digital, it helps us to see like the scale of what we're dealing with.
So we're talking about something that's integrated into almost every part of our lives. Don't we need some rules of the road for this? How do we make sure this digital species doesn't, go rogue?
That's exactly what Suleyman gets into next. He talks about some key principles for developing AI responsibly, and one of the big ones is transparency.
Okay, so what does that mean? Like, are we talking about open sourcing all the AI code?
It's more about being able to understand how AI makes decisions. So let's say you're applying for a loan, and an AI system denies you. Wouldn't you want to know why?
Yeah, for sure.
Suleyman's saying we need to be able to look inside the AI and understand how it's thinking.
Especially when AI is getting involved in things like healthcare and finance, we need to be able to trust it.
Transparency is key for that.
Yeah.
But Suleyman doesn't stop there. He also talks about the importance of collaboration. Like, this isn't something one company or one country can handle. We need a global effort to make sure AI is developed safely.
Okay, so everyone needs to be on board with this.
Absolutely. It goes back to that digital species idea. It's not about freaking people out. It's about getting everyone talking and working together.
I like that. So it's about bringing everyone to the table to figure out the future we want with AI.
Right. And that brings us to another key point, aligning AI development with human values.
So we're not just building AI that's smart. We're building AI that's ethical and compassionate. But how do you actually code that?
It's about building systems that are fair,
Yeah.
unbiased, and respectful of human dignity. It's about using AI to address real problems, like climate change and poverty.
So we need to make sure AI serves humanity, not the other way around.
Exactly.
But isn't there a risk that if we try to make AI more human, we accidentally give it too much power? Like, at what point does a digital species stop being a tool and become a potential threat?
That's a really important question, and it leads to another key point that Suleyman makes. Control. We want AI to be capable and independent to a certain extent, but we also need to stay in control of how it's developed and used.
So it's like finding that balance between letting AI grow, but also making sure it stays aligned with our goals.
Exactly. He uses this analogy of raising a child. You nurture them, you guide them, but ultimately you want them to become independent and make their own choices.
Right.
It's the same with AI. We need to set boundaries and have oversight to prevent it from becoming uncontrollable or doing things we don't want it to do.
So who gets to decide where those boundaries are? And how do we make sure AI is accountable to us?
Those are some of the toughest questions we're facing. There are no easy answers. Suleyman says we need experts from all different fields: ethics, philosophy, law, tech. Everyone needs to be talking and working together.
So we're kind of writing the rule book as we go. But how do we make sure all this talk actually turns into action?
Suleyman's all about being proactive. Like, we need to think about these things now, before it's too late.
So better safe than sorry.
Right.
But AI is evolving so fast. How can we predict what challenges we'll face down the road?
Well, we can't predict the future, for sure. But we can learn from the past, and we can build flexibility into our AI systems so they can adapt as AI keeps evolving.
So it's like we're building a system that can change along with the technology.
Exactly. And that's where the digital species analogy really comes in handy. Just like we manage other species in our environment, we need to manage the impact of AI on society.
And make sure it's a positive force in the world.
Right, get a constant process of learning and adapting.
So we need to be flexible and ready to adjust our approach as AI changes.
Exactly. AI isn't some static thing. It's a dynamic force that's going to keep shaping our world.
Okay, so we've talked about transparency, collaboration, human values, control. That's a lot. Does Suleyman give us any ideas on how to put all this into practice?
He does. And it starts with recognizing that we're at a really important moment. We have the chance to shape AI in a way that benefits everyone, but it's going to take a real effort.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about the choices we make.
That's exactly it. And those choices will determine what kind of future we get with AI.
So best case scenario, AI helps us solve big problems and makes our lives better.
Right.
Worst case.
It could create new problems we're not ready for.
It's a lot to think about. But there's also something really exciting about all this.
Definitely.
Like we're on the verge of something huge.
Suleyman feels that too. He sees the potential for AI to do so much good, but he's also realistic about the challenges.
So cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. He believes AI can be a force for good, but we need to be smart about how we develop it.
So we need to take control and steer AI in the right direction.
That's it.
This whole digital species idea, it's a lot to take in. Like, what does it actually mean for our everyday lives?
That's a great question. And it leads to this fascinating point that Suleyman makes about how AI could change how we understand ourselves.
Okay, now you've got my attention. AI helping us understand ourselves better.
Yeah, I'm all ears.
Yeah. So Suleyman thinks that as we create these more and more advanced AIs, we're going to start asking some really big questions about what it even means to be human.
So instead of just teaching AI to act like us, we're actually learning about ourselves in the process.
Exactly.
That's a cool way to think about it. By watching how AI learns, how it solves problems, how it even interacts with other AIs, we can learn new things about how our own minds work.
Like how we make decisions and the biases we have.
Right.
Even like the whole mystery of consciousness.
It's like AI is giving us this whole new lens to look at ourselves through.
It is kind of mind-blowing.
And it's not just about understanding ourselves better.
Yeah.
It's about using that knowledge to make our lives better.
So how do we do that?
Well, Suleyman believes AI can help us overcome our limitations, enhance our abilities, and unlock new levels of creativity and innovation.
So it's not about AI replacing us. It's about AI helping us become even more human.
I think that's a good way to put it.
It's like this collaboration between human and artificial intelligence.
Right. Each one bringing its own strengths to the table to achieve things that neither could do alone.
So it's like a true partnership.
Yeah, exactly.
And that partnership could revolutionize everything. Imagine working with AI to create a groundbreaking new product, or compose a symphony, or even find a cure for a disease.
It sounds like science fiction, but we're actually getting closer to that reality every day.
The advancements in AI are happening so fast, it's hard to keep up.
And that's why Suleyman is urging us to really engage in this conversation about AI and its implications.
Yeah.
The decisions we make today will shape the future for generations to come.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about how we use it.
Right, and it's about making sure AI is developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity.
We need to remember that the future of AI is not set in stone. It's being shaped right now by the choices we make.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Suleyman's vision, what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
First, AI is not just another piece of technology. It's a game changer with the potential to completely transform our world.
It's not about AI replacing humans. It's about AI augmenting our abilities and helping us achieve more.
We need to approach AI development with both a sense of responsibility and optimism, recognizing the potential risks while also embracing the incredible opportunities it presents.
It's up to all of us to shape the future of AI and ensure that it's a force for good in the world.
If you're interested in learning more about this, we encourage you to check out Suleyman's work. Talk to your friends and family about it and stay informed about the latest developments in AI.
The future's being written right now, and we all have a role to play in shaping it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of AI.
Until next time, remember, the best way to predict the future is to create it.